Hi. Hi, my queer little bookworms. Welcome to or welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you've been having the most whimsical week ever. Today, we might be embarking on a scary journey. This could go either really well or really bad. I decided I was going to read for 24 hours again. I've done this 2 other times, except those 2 other times I actually set a timer, and this time I'm not setting any timer. Listen, I'm gonna go purely based on the time that we're gonna start reading, and we're gonna read till tomorrow. And I'm not going to try and stay up all night because I have things I need to do tomorrow. But I'm in the big reading mood. I have a good few good books I can binge, and we'll see where this video takes us. So right now I'm in the middle of Good Girl, Bad Blood by Holly Jackson. This is the second book in the Good Girl's Guide to Murder trilogy. I'm on page 157. There's 400 pages, so I have about 140 pages to go. No, 240 pages to go. So I'm really actually enjoying this book. We are finally in the meat and potatoes, and we're getting deep into it. And I just love Holly Jackson's books so much because I've read every single book off her backlist except this one and the last book in the series. And I love this so much. It's so binge-worthy, and that's why I was this is the perfect time to read this. I don't want to say anything about this one, but I'm going to tell you about the first book in the series if you're curious. This book follows Pip, and I think about 6 years ago in her town, a popular girl named Andy gets murdered by her boyfriend, and then he offs himself. But that's at least the story that the entire town decided to run with. But Pip has always had a lingering feeling that's not what actually happened. So she goes out on the journey of trying to solve the murder by herself. Or try to solve the murder herself.
The second book I was reading was Where There's Room for Us by Hayley Kiyoko, and I have a hard time explaining this book, so you're going to have to bear with me. It takes place in the 1880s Victorian England, where anyone's allowed to love anyone they want, so they're not homophobic. However, that doesn't stop people from still being jerks. And basically, Ivy, her brother inherits a property in England, so her and her brother move from New York, which is known to be more woke, to England. And in England, Ivy becomes friends with her neighbor, who's Freya. Now, Freya comes from a family. She has multiple sisters, and she's expected, although people are a little bit more progressive than they actually were, realistically speaking, she still is expected to marry a man and be the perfect daughter in quotation marks. But stuff happens. Okay, so basically Ivy and Freya meet, right? And then Freya's yo, my sister she saw you and she was wait, kind of cool person. What if you guys went on a date together? Ivy's cool, yeah, sure. But instead, Freya's sister ends up not going on that date, so Freya goes instead of her. So Freya and Ivy go on a date together. And that kicks off their I don't know, this is a romance book, so I feel you can guess where it's going from here. And I know this sounds kind of confusing, but you're just going to have to bear with me.
Let's start a 24-hour readathon. It's currently 8:54, but I'm going to just round it up to 9. Okay, let me start reading. sit down and gather around. I have some updates on Where There's Room for Us. I'm officially halfway through. I'm on page 154. And on Good Girl Bad Blood, I am on page 213. We are also a little over halfway into this book. I have 190 pages left. Oh my goodness, this book is so good. We are in a very, very good spot right now. I'm enjoying this book so much. I could truly just like sit here and read this for so long. I love this so much. It's the perfect book to read during a 24-hour readathon. I should stop calling it that. It's the perfect book to read during a readathon. Also, if you're in a book slump, pick up A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I read the first book, I think a few months ago. It's been like a month or so. I don't know. It's been a while, and I read it in January, right? So at the start of this, although they did do a recap, I had to search up a few things, which I was very hesitant about because, you know, that's how people find spoilers.
This clip was me trying to explain that I started a new book on my iPad to read, and I started The Way I Used to Be by Amber Smith. Now, this book follows Eden, and you should definitely search up the trigger warnings for this book, but it follows Eden, and she gets sexually assaulted by her brother's best friend. This happens to her when she's barely a freshman in high school. And it just follows her and what happens with the trauma that she carries with her for the many years of her life forward. And you just follow her as a teenager navigating that trauma and trying to change herself completely because she doesn't want to be taken back to that traumatic time in her life. I don't want to give away too much of this book because, I mean, you could go into it relatively blind and maybe enjoy it, but I don't want to give away spoilers, and I'm really scared to, so.
So this is how it's gonna be. Right, because my hair can never look normal. And I always have to look chopped on camera. I feel like I've looked worse. I'm sorry. Like, sometimes I have to realize that there are people that are watching this, and it's not just me talking to my phone. But, yeah, like, I would never be able to go out like this in public, so what makes me think that I'm comfortable? What am I talking about? Okay. It is the next day. It is Thursday. And it's currently 9:48. It's 9:49. I lied. I'm sorry. I am done this challenge. It was definitely an interesting bit because I did wake up at 6:30 today, like I try to every day when I have a day off. But I didn't Oh, okay. So I didn't read. I actually spent like I think 2 hours on my phone scrolling, and then I decided, and I was nauseous to my stomach because I was that hungry. Because that happens sometimes when I don't eat in the morning. And then I still had to wait until I could like brush my teeth and everything. Because I refused to eat or drink anything without brushing my teeth. And then I ate eventually. It took a while. It was about to get there. I could have read in that time, but instead I decided to watch YouTube. Listen, I'm a sucker for YouTube. Maybe you could do a challenge just like watch YouTube for 24 hours. No, that's probably bad for me. Anyway, the moral of the story is, although I woke up early today, I did not read almost anything. I read like 5% of my book on here. So let me give you like the full rundown of what happened yesterday night after I started filming. I finished Where There's Room for Us by Hayley Kiyoko, which I doubted I was going to finish. And I thought I was going to have to finish it today, but I'm happy I did finish it. And then I'm going to give you my review afterwards. And then I obviously was reading The Way I Used to Be by Amber Smith on my iPad. And I got 20% in, and then I read another 5% today, so I'm 25% in. Okay, we're a quarter way in. Good Girl, Bad Blood by Holly Jackson. I decided to rate this a 4 stars. I've been a little bit more like flexible with my ratings. You know, I have lost a little bit the plot when it comes to ratings. I rated my books very, very differently in the past. So if you look back to my ratings, even last year, this day last year, I would have been rating books differently. But I decided to rate this a 4 stars. I look back on my Goodreads. I rated Good Girl's Guide to Murder a 4.5. This was very thoroughly enjoyable. I actually had like anxiety throughout it, but in like a good way. And I was just flying through it. It was so good. I loved how it was binge worthy sometimes. And I truly like would just sit down and I didn't know the pages gone by. And then I'm like, and then I have to realize I have to comprehend. I'm like, wait, I just read 200 pages in one sitting. I need to like pat myself on the back for that. I feel like the ending felt maybe a little off to me, but at the same time, I felt a little off at that point in this challenge because I don't know, I think I was going from book to book and that kind of didn't work out for me. Where There's Room for Us by Hayley Kiyoko. I rated this a 2.25 stars or a 2 stars. I don't know. It was just not her first book was really good. I really want one of those. And this one, it fell a little flat for me. 2 stars is still a good rating because to me, 3 stars is like, I actually thoroughly like this book. I kind of debated DNFing it at some points. The ending and the ending conflict felt like a little off. I feel like the ending was rushed so much. Like she should have spread it out longer. The pacing was really weird in this one. It was really weird. Other than that, I feel like I also zoned out in a lot of parts of this book because although I was trying to focus, I don't know. Something didn't click for me. It was all right. Yay! I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what other videos you want to see. Woo! Hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Have the most whimsical week ever. And if you're feeling overwhelmed or overstimulated today, go outside, touch some grass or snow, and I'll be here when you get back. And